Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths, Let's Build, where today we are jamming multiple Let's Build requests into a single video. These are quite old ones as a matter, I should mention. So we're building a flying wing CRAM bomber that drops CRAM bombs, or fires CRAMs from above at the very least, but also uses CRAM mortars using bomb chutes for barrels, for max accuracy. And so I'd like to preface this whole thing off by saying that I have incredibly bad luck when it comes to CRAM bombers. They're a bit of a cursed item for me, because as much of a CRAM enthusiast as I am, and as much as I like CRAM cannons and have had plenty of practice making them, CRAM bombers are one of those things that always, they never turn out well for me. It's just, I have never managed to build a CRAM bomber that I'm completely happy with. It's just, it has never happened. And I don't know why, it's one of those things, I guess, you need a lot more practice to build right. And of course, I've had advice from all over the shop about how to do it, about what is, makes a good CRAM bomber and all that stuff. And I have tried almost all of that advice, and it's never worked. Never worked for me. And it's an interesting thing when people tell you in no uncertain terms how to do something, and then you test their work, and you find out that they talk a big game, and the end result is not as advertised. Because that has happened before. People have said, like, sometimes nicely, sometimes not so nicely, dude, here's a CRAM bomber, just look at it, copy what they do. And you go on the Steam Workshop, and you find the thing they say, and then you test it, and it's like, it's actually no better than what you've done. So that's happened multiple times, is that I've tested a CRAM bomber, people have spoken highly of it, and they've been all like, oh, this is, just do what this does, and I've been less than impressed. So, yeah, so this, I don't know, I just decided to wing it this time. And the end result isn't bad. This is definitely one of those builds that's going to require a lot of fiddling around with. And you can see right now on screen, the Tetris is an interesting thing. This is standard diamond Tetris that I'm doing, but with a twist in it. So it's just adding, it's just sticking in extra autoloaders whenever possible. And you'll see I change my mind frequently about the orientation of these autoloaders. Well, not autoloaders, they're payload packers. Sorry, force of habit. And I keep losing track of, like, what bit should go in next. So yeah, it's just adding extra loaders here, there, and everywhere to ensure as many loaders are on pellets as possible. And also, one great thing I'm demonstrating here is that when you're building a system, like particularly CRAMs and APS, is like having the firing piece down early kind of enables you to make sure that everything is connected properly, because oftentimes, like, say for turrets, what I'd do is, like, I'd build the thing from the bottom up, and the problem with that is that you might have goofed on connecting certain blocks together, and you only find out later, then you have to go back and fix it. And yeah, and also getting it to the right gauge before you, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, it's hot and I can't brain very well right now. Also, I'm tired because Monday ruined my whole routine. But yeah, so, what was I saying? So yeah, it's just making sure doing things in the right order so you, like, don't have to go back and fix things. Which I will freely admit I'm terrible at. I generally don't plan out my builds ahead of time very well. Which is unfortunate because there are certain kinds of vehicle that really lend themselves better, let's say, to being planned out ahead of time, particularly big ones. And I think for this CRAM bomber, I really should have dialed down to the ambition a lot and just, made it a lot smaller, because this thing is kind of big. It's not massive, but you could already see this is a lot of CRAM. And the whole idea is that it drops doom crams from above. Like, you'll notice that it's frag pellets in these CRAM systems, and that's because doom frag is as is one of the better uses for CRAM cannons as of right now. Yeah, and also since there's a CRAM bomber, it's going to miss by inches a lot. And you'll notice that that I put the bomb chutes on top of the thing, so they act as like mortars, and I just use motorized barrels, and I think flash suppressor barrels as well on the underside, and that's because using bomb chutes in the way that they're intended to be used has never worked for me. Just the muzzle velocity is just, it is far, far too slow, and in order to, like, people keep telling me that CRAMs inherit the velocity of the vehicle that they're on. I don't know if that's still the case, and certainly it doesn't help me much, because what that means is that your CRAM bomber has to actually, like, essentially dive straight at whatever it's trying to bomb, which means flying in a straight line straight at it, at least briefly, which is a splendid way to get shot down, and is, honestly, I don't think it's worth it, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, and I was thinking very much so, because on the armor tutorial I uploaded the other day, people were saying in the comments that I was kind of exaggerating how useful stone is against EMP, and I guess I was. Stone is not EMP proof, and it does not make things EMP proof. It's just, in order to use it most effectively to EMP proof your AI and stuff like that, there are specific things you have to do. Like, one of them is that you've got to leave air gaps between the stone and, as much as possible, any conductive materials around it. And also you've got to have other things aside from the stone to pull the EMP surge away from it, because EMP takes the path of least resistance, and it is attracted towards things it can damage, so it will get pulled towards AI components, and I guess missile controllers and possibly heavy armor, not sure about that. But the best way to avoid that is just go ham on the surge protectors, just have a lot of them. So stone plus surge protectors is probably the cheapest and overall one of the most efficient ways of dealing with EMP surges you can have. And of course, if weight or cost isn't a huge issue, heavy armor works pretty well as well, because unlike stone, it actually does absorb EMP. It's like it soaks it up and stops it completely. It does get damaged in the process, but that does mean less damage to your, like, really vital components, like your AI compartments, for instance. And so, yeah, you see I've got this thing, I've got two separate little AI compartments, the main one in front, rear one in the back. This is already starting to look somewhat wing-like. And by the way, I really mess up the sloping on the front of this, and so the first time I get back to this in part 2, I'll probably have to fix that. So remember what I was saying, is try not to make more work for yourself later. I wasn't really doing that. I was just kind of winging it as I go. And you'll notice I'm using metal, simply because I usually use alloy for stuff like this. But I reason, like, okay, every other CRAM bomber I've ever made tends to get shot at a lot, and also hit a lot, so that extra durability might actually come in handy. And the thing doesn't need to float, so, like, why not go full metal? Go full metal alchemist on this one. So, yeah, I also probably need to, in retrospect, layer some more armor on the underside of this thing, because as of the moment, I believe I left off this thing with just a single layer of stone in between whatever's underneath this craft and the main AI, so that's not a good thing. Okay, so this is where I'm trying to figure out the ammunition compartment, and I essentially, like, usually, one of the problems with building flying things, and I didn't want this thing to be too heavy, is that ammo compartments are difficult, because you can't use heavy armor too much, otherwise the thing can't even fly. Well, it can still fly, it just requires more drastic means. And so instead, what I've done here is I've basically just layered lots of metal around it, which is cheaper and lighter. And so here we've got this kind of weird cross thing. And you can see every so often when I pause me trying to... It's basically my brain working. You can imagine me going like da 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 whenever I do that, because I totally do that. And yeah, what are you thinking past BorderWise? I think what I'm thinking is, yeah, want some more packing time for the CRAM cannons. And actually, no, this is the part where I remembered. Oh yeah, this is like 2 different CRAM systems on here. You got the drop, you got the things that are fired straight down, and then the things that are lobbed in a high arc. So you got to do those ones next. So this whole design, as tends to be the case for these Let's Builds, is quite experimental. I don't know if it's going to work. This one, quite often when you build stuff, you can feel ahead of time whether a particular build is going to work out or not. And this particular one, I don't want to discourage myself, and I don't want to be the fat lady singing too early, but this one might end up in the scrap heap. It might be. Like, I managed to salvage certain stages of it, but overall I'm kind of looking at this and thinking, this might go the way of all my other attempts at a CRAM bomber. Or maybe that's just because I'm hot and tired and perpetually sweaty and perpetually thirsty. Did I mention it's summer down here in beautiful Aotearoa, New Zealand? It is, and it doesn't get as hot as a lot of places on this planet, but it is hot enough, and it is nice and humid. Also, I need to keep the door to my room closed when I record, because otherwise you will hear the local ambulance helicopter even more clearly than you already do, and that's fun. So here's me trying to be a little bit more space efficient, and failing a little bit, because gauge increases are hilarious like that. So yeah, so there's more. Okay, so yeah, this unfortunately, sometimes when you're building things you're not usually good at building, there is just a lot of faffing about and thinking about it, and just giving it the good old college try and hoping it works out. And the irony is, like, I think I've said this before, is like some of my best builds and favorite builds we've ever done is when you kind of stop caring about the end result and you just build and kind of half turn your brain off. And this is not one of those things. I was focusing quite hard on this and trying to think ahead, and might have screwed myself in the process there, because you think ahead for one thing, that means you miss other things that are happening right in front of you. So the moral there is live in the present. And I should mention as well, I put custom jets on this thing. I don't really have any kind of engine power on this thing, because ideally it shouldn't need it, but yeah, it's like, that's a lot of CRAM components I'm looking at, and there's no pellet sharing between any of them. And of course, here's where I tweak everything and make sure the CRAMs are looking the way they're supposed to. And yeah. Oh no, don't yawn. This is exciting! Otherwise, if you are not excited for flying CRAM death, how can you expect anyone else to be? But BorderWise, it's hot, and I would rather be napping right now. BorderWise, you know better than that. You know that napping at this time of day would be a terrible mistake. You'd ruin your sleeping cycle again. But BorderWise, no whining BorderWise. Don't make me put you in the corner again. But BorderWise, if you put me in the corner, you'll also have to go in the corner. Well, yeah, I like the corner. What are you going to do about it? Well, I won't go in the corner then. Damn it, I have foiled myself again. So anyway, CRAM cannons. Payload... What's it? Payload packers... Payload compactors. I'm literally reading the screen to remember what these things are called. Payload compactors are... they're an interesting thing, and they're the main reason why I'm going to have to redo a lot of my old CRAM tutorials. Yay! I actually am quite happy about that, because I've gotten better at CRAM since I made them, as well as CRAMs being changing in the days since I made them. And so yeah, you just gotta, in order to get the exact amount of CRAMage you want, you kind of have to stick them wherever. And this is the point where I remember, dude, like, yeah, those aren't connected. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get them out of here. So yeah, it's like, this is happening a lot in this video. I'm realizing it's just like, oh boy. You take one step forward and another step back. Bravo, sir. Yeah, this is me trying to figure stuff out again and thinking, how do I make magic happen? And the answer is, you can't. Oh no, you can. There you go. Look at that magic. More compactness. More compactness. More compactness. Gonna have... The CRAMs are not, on this thing, are not as strong as I would hope. And honestly, maybe I should just say screw it and just combine all of these CRAM components into just one giant one, because that seems to be the CRAM meta these days, is have fewer actual CRAM systems, but have them be bigger, and have them super well packed with like massive shell health and massive damage. But yeah, so the old days of like CRAMs having to be in volleys are pretty much over. Because one big CRAM is better than a whole bunch of small CRAMs. Especially now that Sea-Wiz and missile interceptors can destroy CRAM shells. Yeah, that's a bit of a game changer, I've gotta say. No, don't yawn. You're gonna get put in the corner again. So yeah, once again, more space being made. And just because I have a sneaky suspicion I'm might have to smuggle an injector engine into this thing later. In case there is some reason that I need to use power. I didn't actually end up putting missile decoys on this thing either, which is an interesting thing to forget about. So yeah, that's weird. Okay, nope, the corner beckons. The corner, it beckons. Hot and bothered, hot and bothered, hot and humid. Should have had a glass of water with me, but it's too late now. It's too late. I'm sitting here with my microphone. And my microphone is looking at me and judging me. And I'm judging how much ammo I actually need for this thing. Turns out it's the great thing about the big ammo change when it happened is that it actually really lowers the amount of space you need for ammo compartments. Which is especially good for anything that flies and uses missiles. No, the corner! I will actually have to see how this thing works out, because I would love to stick a huge missile on this thing. That's actually another reason why I don't have much practice with CRAM bombs, as much as you might think, because missile bombs work so much better. They're so much more compact, they're so much simpler to build. They actually get through the defenses of enemy craft a lot better, and they're guided. Like, I know that CRAMs at high angles have a little bit of guidance, but just compared to missiles, they're just not as good. So yeah, and this is me contemplating this CRAM barrel nibble just on top here, thinking about the deck that's going to go over it, and I actually make a mental note to have a kind of arming around there just to make sure the local weapon controller is fine, and then I forget to do that, so that's nice. So yeah, I was like, just proceeding on there. No, stop yawning! Stop yawning! You have no excuse to yawn. Yawning makes you more tired. Fun science fact for the day. It actually also makes the people around you tired, since the best theory for yawning as of now is that it's a social signal that, like, okay, I'm bored, that means it's safe to rest. Yeah, so, yeah, be careful when you yawn. Try and suppress your yawns if you want to stay awake. The way you do that is you just swallow them. Like what I just failed to do. Is this quality content? Just when you can just hear that the commentary wants to sleep. Okay, finally we're getting onto the custom jets. So I chose to go with small jets simply because I like them better. They're easier to squeeze into tight spaces. That can be taken out of context, and of course I faff around with this quite a bit. So yeah. And funny thing about what I do here is, like, well, number one, you'll notice I'm using the turning the connection checking off in order to place these things exactly where I want them to be, which is a super handy feature. And the other thing, I'm putting these things slightly too close together because I'm used to I don't know when they changed it, but the custom jets no longer can share the add-ons between them when they're right next to each other. And I either didn't know that or completely forgot about that, and so that's why these things have been placed the way they've been placed. I'm gonna have to stick myself in the corner later, aren't I? Because I'm being a naughty boy, being tired. Freaking hell. Imagine if people were punished for being tired. I think they are, actually, so that was a dumb thing to say. Where was I? Oh yeah, you see me faffing around with custom jets. I want to go back in time and slap your younger BorderWise firmly across the armpit and say, "You fool! Custom jets are the absolute bee's knees, llama's pajamas, and the relevant elephant. They're so good, you should use them now. Not later, now." And then younger BorderWise would say, "Why did you hit me? That was so uncool, man." And I'd be like, oh, sorry. Well, I was excited, okay? Custom jets are amazing. And depending on how far back in time I go, it'll be just like, what are you talking about? And I'll be all like, oh, whoops, this is 2005, this is a bit early. I just assaulted, how old was I in 2005? I just assaulted a young person, I better get out of here, back to the wonderful world of 2021. And then my younger self will be all like, 2021? That's so far in the future. Like, what's happening? Is it cool over there? And like, I'll let you see that for yourself. What's happening on screen now? Oh yeah, it's me learning, it's past me, but a slightly more recent past me. Learning the hard way that, yeah, these, they don't share add-ons anymore. You damn fool. And, do not worry, I do eventually figure out, like, hang on, this thing's gonna be a flying wing. You have a lot of room, for, custom jets here. And also, this is the point where I remember. Oh no, I am so sorry. This is also the point where I remember that, those ducts, those intake ducts are a thing, and you should use them, and so I do use them. I use them right now, and it's lovely. So there we go, there we go, there we go. We have achieved duck. Quack. That's a funny thing with that, is like, I always, whenever someone says duct now, I just hear duck. So it's just like, ducts make good armor. It's like, ducks make good armor? Oh, they would love that. Meh, meh. So this is me trying to use my brain and failing, because I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not where the extra compressor goes. It goes on the other side. Oh, I am border tired. Stab it. Like, guys, I've had like 4 cups of coffee today, and it has not been enough. New Zealand humidity. It's not particularly infamous on a world scale, but it's bad. It's bad. Okay, so what is me doing? Me is adding stuff, and so you'll notice I'm using a lot of compressors in this, and it's mostly compressors, which I am led to believe increase the efficiency of a custom jet engine. They don't actually necessarily make any extra thrust, and so later in the video, spoiler alert, I add extra combustors to this thing in order to get it moving at a speed that I like. So, yeah. Ooh, my goodness, what is there to say except there's custom jets being made. And there's gonna be some fuel injectors. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Ah, there it is. Ah, the injectors. Have I convinced anybody yet? I don't think so, BorderWise. Shut up, BorderWise. You don't know anything. Then why do you keep making tutorials if you don't know anything? No, I said you don't know anything. I know plenty. BorderWise, you are talking to yourself. Well, that's 'cause, for all practical intents and purposes, I'm the only one here. So, there. BorderWise, people are going to think that you are disturbed. Well, they're welcome to think that. I can't stop them from thinking that. I can't stop them from anything, actually. How about you focus on what's happening on screen right now? Well, what's happening on screen right now, BorderWise, is that The custom jets are being looked at by past BorderWise, and we don't know... Alright, there we go. This is the point where past BorderWise remembers, hang on, you have a lot of room. You can have room for all of these custom jets to have all the attachments all the time, and it will be so much better. Unfortunately, past BorderWise forgets to make the prefab the right size to catch the add-ons on the bottom, and so much later you'll see me add those in manually. So that's actually, well, the first thing I do is set the prefab to the wrong width, so that's not a good start either. And there's one, and there's me checking it's all good in the neighborhood, and 1, 2, 3, and there we go again. And there we think like, oh no, we need to add some fuel there. And this is the point where I realize, oh, I've left very convenient holes for fuel in the CRAM system. That's nice, let's stick it in there. And for those of you wondering, no, fuel does not damage things near it when it gets destroyed, it's all good. Relax, 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 panicking is my job, and even then, only sometimes. Panicking is not usually a productive thing to do, so you must try and save it for when you need it, just like yawning. Oh no, I mentioned yawning. And now we're back to messing with CRAM barrels again. If anyone is being made sleepy by how sleepy I sound right now, I do apologize. It is not by choice. It is because I don't know whose fault it is. I'm sleep deprived, so probably someone is to blame. Probably me. Probably modern society, to be perfectly honest with you. Probably the weather. Probably climate change. Oh yeah, that was a big one. Ah! Maybe I can blame Coca-Cola for... Actually, I can't blame Coca-Cola for anything, because it's not their job to deliver caffeine to me, it's my job to buy caffeine from them. With money. And here's where I stick the pitch control in the front of the aircraft, when I haven't actually built the front of it yet. Which is awkward. Also, the front of this thing is not going to be particularly aerodynamic, unfortunately. I will need to aerodynamic it more later. So you'll see this thing is a little bit weird. Like, this thing, I don't know, does this, well, wait until you see the almost finished product at the end of the video before you comment this, but I don't know whether this thing is big or small. Like, is it medium size? What is it? Oh boy. Anyway, so the front starts off promisingly with 4-meter slopes. And then I kind of try and flying wing it. Ha ha ha, I punned. And so we go back here, and then we go just gently staggered slopes, which I think gets a good aesthetic result, but not so sure about the aerodynamics of it. I believe the aerodynamics of this are quite bad. And there's, whoopsie daisy, that was a wooden one. Let's have a metal one instead. But yeah, if you want that kind of gentle curve thing, just alternating slopes is a good idea. Oh no, no, don't you dare. You will get put in the corner forever. And no one will love you in that corner. No one, I say. No one? No one. Who's no one? No one is a cool dude, but unfortunately he doesn't show up much, so you will be lonely in that corner. Yes, even you, BorderWise. But I'm good at being lonely. That makes no sense. No one is good at being lonely. Lonely is a feeling. It's like saying people are good at being angry, or good at being sad, or good at being happy, or good at being horny. Makes no sense. Well, let's not get too much into that, but, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Loneliness is an interesting phenomena, I feel, because, speaking entirely for myself, also I preemptively... Well, not preemptively, I kind of goofed. No, I didn't goof. I fixed it, never mind. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so... I am the particular kind of introvert in that I am at my loneliest when I am surrounded by people. When I'm on my own, I don't really get lonely. Unless there's something else that's bumming me out and I need to talk it out with someone to get it off my chest. Then I can feel lonely. But yeah, it's interesting, like, especially what with current events and us having to stay away from people more. Well, to a greater or lesser degree, depending on where you are in the world. Just how some people deal with it, because there are... I felt so sorry when lockdowns and quarantine started happening for all the people who are like, you know, real people who just, they need to see their friends like every day, and they hang out with their families like almost every day, and just every evening. They're out with their mates, and they're doing stuff. And that is my one of my personal ideas of hell, but other people enjoy that really a lot, and this time has been incredibly miserable for them, and just, they have my sympathies for that, because I've sometimes envied that, to be honest. Like, I would not actually change myself, well, most things about myself, for love or money these days, but being able to have the kind of social endurance to, like, hang out with people for, like, a really extended period of time, and being willing to do it all again for the next day, and then the next day, and the day after that. Like, I think that skill is probably rarer than I think it is, but it would be pretty darn sweet to be able to, you know, to be able to do that, to be like an extrovert like that. I feel life would be easier in many ways. It would be harder in others, of course. Like, getting back on the topic of, like, if for whatever reason you are not allowed to see those close to you for an extended period, then being an extrovert who needs people around you would suck. And I'm basically just spitballing here because I've never been a person like that. I have always been hiding in my cave. I've been hiding in my cave with my video games, and I've been jolly happy for the most part. And the only real misery comes when things try and pull me out of that cave when I'm not ready. Which I feel a lot of people are like that. Particularly in this day and age. Oh, no. I really hope there's enough oxygen in this room, because if there isn't, I might just be suffocating myself by accident. Wait, is my window open? Hang on one moment, gonna check my window's open. Ah! Everything fell down. Everything fell down. No, my note paper that I still keep here, even though I don't really write notes on it anymore. Oh boy. I'm a disaster. I am a financial disaster. Figuratively speaking. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, slopes. The video was rolling while I was away. What did I miss? Slopes. Lots of slopes. And yeah, good news is the window's open. The bad news is it is open only a tiny crack, because that's as far as it can open. I don't have big windows. Or rather, I don't have windows that open very wide. Unfortunately. And this is the point where I'm like, you know what? You gotta stick the pitch further forward, mate. Ain't no good sticking it further back. And yeah, you do have to swap them in order to get them to work. Excuse me. First I'm yawning, now I'm burping. I am a disaster. I am a mess. Bless this mess. So just filling in. So yeah, it's interesting thing with From the Depths is just there's always, and I really mean always, the question of when you build a craft, do you start with the internals first or the externals? And to be perfectly honest with you, and I remember covering this in a video ages ago, it's called How to Build Small. It's how to build small craft, because a lot of people struggle with that. And it depends on what you're trying to do, but actually, when building small, it's usually a good idea to build the externals first, because then you can keep it the size you want. And generally when building large, you build like... Well, yeah, with building large you can go either way. You can build the internals first, or you can build the externals first. Problem I used to have with building is that, particularly when building large craft, if I built the internals first, the whole damn thing would end up being too big. And that's no good. So, yeah. But for this CRAM bomber, I think going internals first was a good idea, because it means you can get the exact amount of crammage you want. And, that's a good thing. So, yeah. What have we here? We're just figuring out the slopes. So it's like the difference between creating a mold that you then fill with important bits, or creating like a skeleton which you then wrap things around. I guess. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And here's the slopes, and here's me remembering that things are happening over there. The end result, actually, which, like, knowing future me, I'll probably stick in the thumbnail. This thing doesn't actually end up looking too terrible. It's just, it's gonna need some tweaking. And definitely, the slopes on the front are gonna need some more slopage. For maximum sloped aerodynamic maximum aerodynamics is the word I was going for, and I failed to get to. Destination unknown. Words. Okay, so let's go there. What are you doing, past BorderWise? Are you working out how slopes work? Maybe I won't redo the slopes. Maybe I should stop yawning. Oh my car. Ugh. Dog damn it. Okay. Okay. Past BorderWise, what are you up to now? Just putting in metal all over the place. I wonder if I listen to metal right now, if it'll help me wake up more. Except I will get copyright struck faster than you can say YouTube loves money, but doesn't love sharing it. Okay, so what's happening now? It's just more slopage. More slopage. Actually, one of the things that you're going to see in a minute, me putting right now actually, a lot of 4 meter slopes on the back of this damn thing. And it's just, it's kind of backwards, to be perfectly honest with you, because the slope should be on the long slope should be on the front. Oh dear. Hindsight is 20/20. Except we don't actually want it to be 20/20 at the moment. We want hindsight to be something other than that number. How much am I dating this video by what I'm banging on about right now? When archaeologists watch this hundreds of years in the future, pretending for a second that the internet will still even be around 100 years in the future, I have my doubts, they're going to be like, wow, people in 2021... Yep, that's the date. You are welcome, future archaeologists. 2021, that's the Gregorian calendar, or at least the modern, modified version of it that actually works for the most part. Where was I saying? Oh yeah, so they're going to say, wow, people in 2021 Common Era were really cynical, and they were really tired, and they moaned about the weather a lot. They think they have it bad. We have to live in refrigerated ships because the oceans have flooded the land, and the largest non-human land animal is the Norwegian rat. That was really depressing, and I should try and be more chipper. So yay, 4 meter diagonal slopes. They're my favorite. Also armoring custom jets. That is always a good thing. I think well, here's the thing. It's just that I was building this thing assuming that it's hopefully not going to get hit by anything that it's doing a bombing run over, because if your bombers are getting hit regularly, that probably means they're not fast enough or evasive enough. So that is something to think about. It's just, yeah, and you can see this. I do like the feeling of just seeing a craft come into shape, so to speak. So you have to done all the internals and made the skeleton of the whole thing, and then you finally get to cover it all up and create the hull around it. And then it's like, then you get to see a kind of a preview of the finished product, like before it's even finished, and like, yeah, this is going somewhere. Speaking of going places, yeah, these custom jets. Ooh, custom jets. I like them, but also I freely admit that I am not the best at them. And now we have ducks. Quack, quack. And of course, we start with one slope, and then we realize, alas, alackaday, this is insufficient slopage. Insufficient slopage. Insufficient slopage. Insufficient slopage. Is there sufficient slopage yet? Probably not. Now we're getting there. We are reaching optimum slopage any second now. Any second past BorderWise will think, yes, now's the time. Yes, maximum slopage. Sufficient slopage. To make this thing's backside not look completely like a donkey's breakfast. Well done, past BorderWise. You remember which plain booty looks good and which arguably does not look so good. We are proud of you. I think. Who is proud of past BorderWise right now? Say in the comments if you're proud of past BorderWise. You shouldn't be too proud of the BorderWise who's currently talking, because that BorderWise keeps yawning and throwing the stees of this video off. Oh boy. And now we put in yawning? No, not yawning things. We don't want yawning things. The yawning thing currently sitting in my chair right now must stop his nonsense. But yeah, yawing things, we do want that, and so that's why we've just put them into the back of this thing. This craft does not end up turning very well. Simply because, like, things that are very short and wide tend not to have good yaw control, so that's another reason I'm probably going to have to stick an injector engine somewhere in here and stick some turning thrusters on this bad boy. On this baddest of boys. And I don't mean bad in the good way. I mean bad in the this thing isn't finished yet and it's still in the phase of crap prototype. Not super prototype, crap prototype. Crappy, 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 crap. Crap, crap, crap. Have you ever thought about how crap is such a fun word? It's named after a dude. I think it was, Thomas Crapper, the one who invented the water closet, which I think a lot of us still poop and pee in to this very day. So we salute you, Crapper. You have given us a wonderful thing to defecate in, and also your name is funny. Crap, 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 crap. Wonder if YouTube's gonna demonetize me for that one. Oh well, so more slopes. That's the rule. General rule with stuff is slopes, and of course, once again, I have to go back and I have to redo the slopes I've already done, because ye gods, I just can't think ahead and just put my slopes in the right place first time. Oh no. No, 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 no. You gotta do other things. Oh boy. Oh no. My brain didn't have any words in it right there. So, is that sufficient, passport-wise? I think it is. Yay. Yay, wings. And this is the point where I think, what can I stick in there? Absolutely nothing? Okay. Probably need to just fill this entire thing with, applique. Just to add an extra bit of durability. Yeah, now what is BorderWise thinking? Past BorderWise. Past BorderWise is a weird dude. I look back on what he's done, he's like, what? You crazy, past BorderWise. You crazy and inattentive and, doing weird stuff. Well, right now what he's doing is just getting the slopes looking good. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, 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 doop. And over there, Miracle of Prefab. Should have been doing that earlier. Would have saved me a lot of time. A lot of time. A lot of time indeed. Time flows very slowly in a hot room, I do have to say. And if I sound funny, it's because I am leaning on my chin right now, because otherwise my head is gonna fall on my desk. Need more coffee. Maybe I need sugar. Maybe I do need sugar. Maybe I need to go lick what's in my sugar bowl right now. BorderWise, that was weird. Why did you conjure that mental image into people's brains? Well, they didn't have to imagine it. That was their choice. Don't you victim blame BorderWise. You said that knowing perfectly well that people are probably maybe half listening to what you're saying. So you go around sensuously licking sugar balls. People are of course going to picture that. And since like they mostly like picture you as like your avatar Sooty, they're gonna picture a hairy thing invading someone's sugar bowl and just being like that's your fault. People are imagining that now because of you. Are you proud of yourself, BorderWise? Yes. Yes, BorderWise, I am proud of myself. I think this is the weirdest commentary I've ever done in a Let's Build. But that's what happens when you break your sleep cycle. When you break your sleep cycle again. When you've been walking on errands in the hot sun, and when the caffeine is not entirely working, and when you are looking at your past self doing past self things, and you think, oh boy. Also, when you put in the portholes before the coincidence rangefinder, and then you have to somehow line the things up while eyeballing it. Actually, coincidence rangefinders are really annoying because just with their orientation, it's hard to tell which way they're facing, and especially when you zoom in, it's hard to tell where you're actually placing the darn thing. So the endpoints are actually sticking out the way they're supposed to. Dearie me. And there I finally get it. I finally get it. I finally get it. I finally get it. Now. No. Now? Where's it? Okay, so there it is. Okay, where were we? Ah, yeah, so this is the detection, and this is something I'm also gonna have to mess with, because I don't think I got it perfectly to my satisfaction. When I did it before, don't think I did. What are you doing, BorderWise? I don't remember what past me is doing right here. It's just trying to... There it is, trying to find the 90-degree camera when it was right in front of his face and screen. And there it is. There it is. Bearing rangefinders, cameras, lasers, and more metal blocks just to fill everything in so it looks good. And once again, brain needs to happen. Brain, go away, come again another day. No, wait, don't go away, brain. We need you. If you go away, things get very bad. It means I won't be able to play From the Depths anymore. Also, I will die. That's also bad. And this is me looking very closely at where I'm probably going to have to stick munition warners later. Yeah. So this thing is taking shape. I'm welcome. Name suggestions, as per usual, are welcome. But maybe we should wait for this thing to be completely finished. Or at the very least, functional towards to a degree of satisfaction. Before we do that. Oh boy. Oh no, the yawns are coming. The yawn is here. Run for your lives. The yawn. That'd make a great, terrible horror movie. The yawn. It makes you tired. It makes you laugh. Not laugh. There. It makes you yawn in a meeting. And then you get fired. And then you starve to death on the street. That would actually be quite scary. It's just a monster that only you can see. And it's not. It doesn't kill you. It just follows you around and ruins your life. I believe the US Marine Corps have a name for that. It's called the Green Weenie. Do not look that up if you are not a fan of strong, Marine Corps language. And to anyone who is in the United States Marines or has been and is watching this, hi there. If you're watching this, I assume you are alive, so well done on that. And I hope that you managed to, if you're still in the Marine Corps, that you are physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy and are hanging in there. And actually, I would wish the same to everybody watching this. It's just, I hope you're doing okay. Because ye gods, being okay is not something to be taken for granted in this, on this insignificantly small green planet of ours. No, sir. Well, it's pretty significant to us now, think about it. I think, of all the planets in the solar system, I've got to say, Earth is my favorite, mainly because I live here. Or at least sometimes, I'm pretty sure I live here. If I was elsewhere, I'm pretty sure I would notice that. The hell are you blathering on about, BorderWise? Alright, so we've got slopes. We've got a hole for this thing. I've also got a headache coming on. Yay! That makes me so thrilled. Alright, balloon time. So, I correctly guessed that this big metal lump is going to need a lot of balloons in order to get itself into the air in the highly likely event that it spawns in the ocean. So this is the point where I decide to put in some ACBs to accomplish that, and I completely forget that the upper hull of this thing is made of metal, so putting it right there, having the ACBs touching metal at all is not a good idea, because the EMP can still find them. So yeah, well done me, you didn't do very well. You didn't do very well, lad. You didn't do very well. And you can see that this thing is kind of being pulled out of the water, also not really, because it is made of metal, and metal does not float very well. And here's me trying to put more balloons in, and that's hard because balloons are in the way, ironically. Ironically. Balloons are in the way. Oh boy, what is you doing, BorderWise? Fighting your way past balloons? It's like a small child's birthday party gone wrong. Too many balloons! Can't see, can't breathe, can't act. And that is almost enough balloons to start pulling this thing out of the water. But not enough. So that actually makes me flash back to the Hypartos. Those of you who remember that craft. That thing had a lot of balloons hidden in it. That falling into the water was a sight to see. And here we go, aerial bombing thing. Whoopsie daisy, wrong altitude. 400. Adjustments, add maneuver, add airplane. Just to target altitude. And this is where I forget to set the adjustments, and so here we go, the thing is going up, 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 and it is flying! Kind of. The thing does pitch almost into space. Yeah, so the thing can at the very least fly, and you'll notice immediately that the thing's not going very fast. For a bomber, you really want to be going as fast as humanly possible, because the thing will get shot at. A lot. Also, I just remember the combat altitude is a little bit low. And it's like, you can see, there's just not enough thrust on here. This thing is going to have a terrible love life. It's not enough thrust. That is a bad joke, and I should stop making it, but I cannot help myself. I don't even know, is that a dad joke? I don't even know if that's a dad joke. In which case, what kind of joke is that? It's innuendo! The thing does Tokyo drift quite nicely, I'm quite pleased with that. And 80 meters per second for a great big metal lump. It's alright, it's just not alright if its job is to fly over the top of things. So I believe this is the point. Actually, did I miss the point? No, haven't done that. Haven't done that yet, it needs to happen soon. Needs to happen soon. We need more Vuma on this thing. We need more zoom zoom. Less break. Less slow, more zoom, more speed, more wee. And I'm also sticking wings right in the middle of this thing. Pretty much for no reason, other than I feel we're flying a bit low, so we need more lift. Of course, it means the lift is exactly in the middle, which is okay, I guess. Not sure if that's actually a good idea to do with wings. You do need to line them with the center of mass, but yeah. So this is me looking at the thing, thinking, why are we so low? And the answer is that we do not have enough thrust to get this thing properly into the air. We need more thrust. Also, was I an idiot and I blocked off the... I think I was. I blocked off the... No, I didn't. No, I didn't. The front radar I can totally see. So this is the bit where I find out, I believe, that I did not put enough add-ons to the thingy. And so I believe, yeah, you can already see that the thing's going faster because the thing has now more combustors. And yeah. So this is already looking a little bit better. Improvement to the custom jets. Yay! We briefly went over 100 meters per second, and we're getting to a better altitude. So this is the part of the video I'm most proud of myself, and everything else is kind of, you did okay, BorderWise. You managed not to trip and stab yourself up the nose, so you get half a mark for that. Half a mark. Full marks, no one gets. Oh yeah, this is the part where I realized, oh, you dingus, you didn't freaking put all the add-ons on that you needed. You didn't do it. You fool, you damn fool. You damn fool. And I'm just gonna do just this quickly. Okay, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so looking at this. So extra compressor, so now we're trundling along at the merry speed of 111 meters per second, which is not bad for something that has horrible slopage on the front of it. And first test of the bombing run. You'll notice this thing does not turn very well because it has insufficient turny turn. I could actually stick Azipod jets on the top of it. That would be funny. That'd be cool. Instead, what I do is stick more yawing thingies on it. I just forgot what those are called. More yaw. More yaw, I say. This is a terrible idea. Those will get shot off immediately as soon as we fly into something more damaging than, you know, a snowstorm. So now the thing is turning, kind of, and saving over the double CRAM bomber. And there, yeah, that's all good in the neighborhood. And away we go. Yeah. What are you doing past BorderWise? Ah, checking the price of the thing. It's almost 100,000 K. So I believe I saw 77,000 materials. Sorry, that probably flashed on screen too fast for a lot of people to catch. But yeah, this thing is getting expensive. It is getting expensive, so it really should. It should. What are you doing now? BorderWise, what are you doing now? I think, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? Are you looking at stuff? Are you having a squiz? Oh yeah, fuses. Very important for CRAMs. They are compulsory, in fact. And we're going with a low altitude fuse, just so if it misses a ship, the thing will still like explode on the waterline, and hopefully fragments will tear out a new bumhole, which would be pretty good. That'd be pretty good, I say. Just realized I filled in the gap where I was potentially planning to stick an engine. And that's a bummer. Might have to remove the wings. Probably should remove the wings. I don't think they're doing anything. So now we're back here, and then we spawn in the Marauder, and then we have partial success. The underside CRAM cannons don't actually fire, so I need to think about and test why that's the case. Probably off screen. And here we lob. And these mortars actually come reasonably close to get it hitting on target. They actually do manage to damage it, it's just very underwhelming. So you see it right there, those, that's one of the reasons I love 180 degree timed fuse CRAM, is that even when it misses, it can still, like, pop blocks off the thing. And you see, those CRAMs on the other side are aiming, but for whatever reason, they're not firing. So I need to fix that. Not sure how to fix it yet, but rest assured, I will totally figure it out. Totally figure it out. You know, and it will be glorious when I do. Glorious, I say. And this is me worrying about the booty of this thing, making sure it looks good. Once again, going in the attack run. Probably some dumb reason why this thing is, yep. And there you can see the AI compartments, made of stone, only one layer. Not good. This thing is big enough that it will get hit by fast-moving shells. So that's a problem. So yeah, the thing is aiming. It's not firing. It's not firing at all. So it's probably a reason for that, but I don't remember what that is. Probably because it didn't come straight at the target. Probably because this thing doesn't have good... and there's a... It lobbed one CRAM bomb and it kind of missed. But it still managed to do, like... That was a complete whiff and it still managed to do, like, almost 5,000 kinetic damage. Which is not bad for something that misses completely. So, yeah, this is, interesting. I'm not actually sure what the rest of the video is, consists of. Because, actually, this is almost over now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, so... Yeah, what else is there to say? I think at this point, I kind of look at the time and realize, oh crap, I need to go to the doctor. So, good, fun fact, I am not sick. I'm just, was going to the doctor for like a routine checkup. But, yeah, so... What was I saying? Oh yeah, so this is pretty much it. For this video and for this CRAM bomber for now. I'm going to be tweaking it off camera a little bit. Not too much, because we need to leave something for next time, so you can see what it is I'm doing. So, yeah, and just, I think, I'm not sure what I'm trying to do here. Just one more look at the bombing run, and that is a spectacular whiff. The thing fired way too early, and that's really annoying. So, at this point I say, okay, video is over, you've had your fun BorderWise, now it's time to stop. So, on that merry note, actually, what are you doing now? Oh, so he's tweaking, he being past me, is looking at the local weapon controller and apparently giving up looking at the local weapon controller, and now he's just going to turn the UI off and leave you there. So... on that merry note, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's fun perks to those. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Let's build. Farewell.